Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot. The comic spot. Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot. The comic spot. Linda's on the microphone, keeping it hot. Doing the interviews to thicken the plot. Give it a listen, cause you'll like it a lot. Or maybe not at the comic spot. Everybody's talking.
Welcome to Facebook on Comic Spot. Mike Krasner. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Facebook. Hello, Linda. How are you guys?
Doing great. I'm having so much fun talking to comics. This is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, you've talked to a lot of people so far.
Yeah, I'm like in
How many?
180. Was that?
Wow. I was just asking how many. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's like 182. I lost track. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about you. You came from New York to Vegas. So where in New York are you from?
I'm originally from Long Island.
Wow, Long Island. There's a lot of
Yeah.
important people that came from Long Island in comedy.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. So how long ago did you come from New York to Vegas?
I've been in Vegas for 12 years now.
Wow. How long, and have you been
Yeah, a
doing
long time.
comedy? What, Mike?
Sorry, every time I speak, for some reason, my Alexa goes off. For no reason whatsoever. I've been doing comedy for about 14 years.
Wow, that's crazy. So in 14 years, where all has your comedy taken you?
I mean, I've done some cool things. It was weird because like when I moved to Vegas, I had to like kind of start over a little bit. I was kind of like no one really knew me out here. But when I was in New York, I was doing some pretty cool things. I was just starting to just be a headliner at my home club before I moved. That was set to happen, but it never did because I moved first and got to go to the city a lot and perform with some cool people. You know, they just show up all the time. Jim Norton would come by every once in a while. So, I mean, such a fun place to do comedy.
Yes, I love New York. What was
Yeah.
your home club that you started in? What was the name of that club?
It was called McGuire's Comedy Club.
It's one of Governor's Radio.
Yeah. Governor's bought it. So now it's Governor's at McGuire's or McGuire's at Governor's, one of them. I'm not sure which way it is, but yeah, they own all of them now.
I lived in New York a couple times. I know all those people. I love it.
When were you in New York?
3 years ago and 2 years ago, I lived there twice doing comedy. I was attached at the hip to Comic Strip Live in the Gladys Simon room. Yeah, where you pay $14. What's
Because
that?
I've seen you interviewing a lot of people from Long Island that I know. Is that how you got in touch with them? Is that how you made your contacts?
Yeah, that's how I know them all, from having lived in New York a couple times.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's some great people out there. I miss so many of those guys.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
great
some
people.
funny people.
Sometimes they come out to visit, so that's cool.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll see. So
Yeah.
I'll look in like one of the comics websites or whatever for the comedy clubs, and I'll be like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
It's cool when they make
So-
it their way out here.
So I've come into LA Comedy Club about 10 or 15 times so far. Seems like every time I come in there, you're there. It's like I expect to see you. So
It's not.
you work there, you do comedy there, but don't you go on the road and do comedy on tours too?
I haven't done much road work lately. I really want to start getting back into it. I want to leave Vegas and go to other places. I do random stuff in California or Arizona sporadically, like small, easy to get to places, stuff like that, neighboring states. But I definitely want to start getting out more and go back east. I want to go home and do some comedy. Definitely want to start doing that.
Well,
It's just
that's
hard to plan anything right now because you don't know when anything's going to happen. So we're all kind of just on hiatus at the moment.
exactly. You said on there that you're a crime fighter. Is that a joke? Are you like acting like you're Superman, or do you actually have a badge where you have a job and you're a crime fighter?
No, I'm just an idiot. Just a big Batman fan, and I'm kind of living vicariously through him sometimes.
I like that. Is that
Nothing.
a kitty cat that just went by?
That is one of my dogs.
What
He's
kind of
going
dog
back
is
and
that?
forth. He's a dachshund, a chihuahua, a terrier. He's a couple. I only know that because we did a DNA test on him not too long ago. We didn't know what he was, so I had to swab his
Is-
mouth, send it in, and then they sent the results back like 3 weeks later, and they gave me like the percentages and everything. It was kind of cool.
That's so cool. How much does that cost to find out what kind of dog you have?
Now that's the thing. I do not know because my friend bought one of her friends that kit for Christmas, and they had sent her two on accident. So she couldn't use it and she didn't have anyone else to give it to. And she knows I was kind of curious about my dog. So she just gave it to me. So I have no idea, but I think it's kind of expensive.
Yeah,
I'd say it's at least probably $100.
good Lord. So a lot of times when we go through traumatic stuff, like say a pandemic, for instance, it's our first pandemic,
Yeah.
and it can either make you feel like giving up or it can make you dig deep and become better at something. So I imagine that you've probably dug deep and tried to perfect something or make something stronger in your life. What have you been working on?
Well, the good thing is with this pandemic is there's not a lot of places to go. Therefore, there's not a lot of things to buy. So I have been able to save money for the first time in a while, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Um, I should be working more on writing jokes and stuff. I mean I have some stuff that I've been writing down and stuff I'm working on, but just trying to get through this. I'm
Yeah.
definitely not giving up on anything. I've been making TikTok videos, trying to do some comedy out through there. And it's cool because you can make like original videos and just do stupid
You're on
things.
TikTok. What's your name on TikTok?
It's the same as my Instagram and my Facebook, comedian Mike Krasner.
Are you on Twitter too?
I'm on Twitter, but I'm not active on Twitter.
And nobody's active on Twitter anymore, not even old people.
Yeah, I'm not really a Twitter. I
It's
check it for
lost.
sports. I check it for sports news sometimes on football teams I follow, but I'm not really active on Twitter at all.
Now you're a fan of the team that's coming to Vegas, aren't you?
Yes, I am a Raider fan.
So the Raiders have been in California, Los Angeles, and they're coming here. Am I right that they're in LA right now?
Well, right now they're in Oakland.
Oakland.
They've been in Oakland for the past I don't know, since like '94, I think it was. And before that they were in LA and then they were in Oakland. So they started in Oakland originally, then they moved to LA for a certain amount of years, and then they moved back to Oakland. They've been in Oakland ever since until they move here next season.
Great. So there's a reason why I'm confused. Perfect. I have an excuse.
Absolutely.
And now they're coming to Vegas. You must be over the moon excited.
I'm indifferent, actually. In a perfect world, they wouldn't have had to move or they wouldn't have moved. But if they're going to move anywhere, might as well be where I live, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be
And
cool to see them.
I lived in SoCal for 15 years in a city right above Temecula called
Mhm.
Menifee. And in the town I lived in, one guy decked out his whole front yard in all Raiders stuff.
Yeah, we Raider fans get pretty crazy and passionate about our team. We're not like regular football fans. We take it to like a whole other. See, I mean, as you could tell, we take it to
Wow.
a whole other level.
Oh my gosh. Was that the team logo?
Yeah.
Man. So did you play football or you just fell in love with the team?
Yeah, I just fell in love with the team. I mean, I played football as a kid, but never like organized sports like for school or anything. We just always played. And ironically, I always got injured no matter what. I've had 2 knee surgeries. I have a bad shoulder, all because of unorganized tackle football. So
Wow.
kids wear protective gear. But no, I just fell in love with the Raiders as a kid, and they've been breaking my heart ever since, basically.
I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I'm telling you, the Trailblazers have broke my heart so many ways to Sunday. One
But
time they took the pennant, and that's it. The rest is like, not again.
but they had some good years back in like the early 2000s when they had them battles with the Lakers, and that was a good Trailblazer team.
That was surprisingly good. I mean, we actually made it to the finals and had something to
Yeah,
be, yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
you guys
gosh.
were a good team back then.
Yeah. Those
I
were
mean,
the days.
you're still a playoff team now.
Are they? I lost, I just gave up on them. I'm just gonna like, oh man, I can't do this one more year.
Nah, they've been semi exciting the last couple of years. They've been in the playoffs every year. They haven't advanced too far, but they're definitely a good team to watch. They're not your regular crappy Blazer team.
You know
They're
that
uh, they're they're good.
Damian Lillard is
Yeah,
somebody that
yeah,
really, yeah.
yeah. Damian Lillard for sure. He's hot.
Had you ever heard when his brother was gunned down in a parking lot because they thought it was Damian?
Um, I'm
That was
something like
weird.
that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. I think I remember something how his brother died, and then he went out and had some career game
It was
and
so
scored.
weird because like you heard there was a shooting at the shopping mall at Clackamas Town Center, and then it's like Damian Lillard's brother. Why would anybody go after him? Oh, they thought it was Damian. It's
That's
like, whoa,
scary. Yeah.
weird. The weird things that
Yeah.
happen in Portland.
Yeah. Good thing
Having
I don't
more-
have any brothers. I don't have any brothers. So if I do get rich and famous, I'm gonna get gunned down. No one's gonna mistake me for anybody. I can
They won't
assure you
think you're.
that.
They won't think you're your sister. Or think your sister is you.
No. My sister and me kind of look alike, but she has more hair, so there's no confusion. I'm
What
the
in
only
the
ginger.
in your 14, 15 years, didn't you say 14 or 15 years of comedy?
Yeah. 14.
What areas of comedy have you gotten into? Improv
I
or
um I started doing stand up in New York, and then I took a couple of improv classes, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I ended up joining an improv troupe and being in a live show every week.
wow.
And they were really amazing improvisers, and they made me watch. I was like an intern with them, and they
Wow.
made me watch them for like 6 months
What?
of like just watching the shows. I got to go to practice with them and like perform with them at practice. But when showtime came, I was just backstage watching the whole time. And as much as it sucked, it was so valuable for me watching these amazing performers. Every one of them were incredible. And just watching them, I learned so much that when I finally was able to do it, I was kind of ready. So I did that for like a couple years, and then I moved out here, and then I got on with some improv groups, and we did some shows out here. So I've mainly just stand up and improv have been my 2 babies, really.
Who's
I haven't
of
done
all?
improv in so long, but I've definitely itching to get like back into it. It would be fun to do.
I watched you at LA Comedy Club. I think you were hosting one night or else opening, featuring or whatever, but you were up there and I think the crowd was like not loosened up or something. And I thought you went into riffing and improv type of stuff and you got them so excited.
Oh, I wish I specifically remembered what night you were talking about, but that's cool. Thank you.
It was like a month before the shutdown. I'll have to think about it, but I think I went in there with Stephen Pearl and we were watching you and the crowd was like A-okay, but not a hot crowd to begin with. And then when you got done with them, they were like, wow.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, sometimes, yeah, like especially if you are doing a hosting spot, sometimes that could be the tough position and they're not completely ready and some people are coming in late. So it is sometimes it's a tougher position, but if I'm doing material and it's just not taking, sometimes like I never planned to do improv or I never planned to do crowd work, but sometimes organically it just happens and
That's
you end up getting some cool memories and you end up getting jokes out of it that you continue to tell. So it's definitely fun to do that. So improv has helped me a lot as well, like with coming back and quick thinking over the years. I don't know. I was always good at quick wit and stuff like that, but I don't know how I would be without the improv training for sure.
Yeah. I did a little bit of improv work when I first started out, but I was in the middle of improv with some really heavyweights. Like I got in this class and three of the people in the class are now famous comics. And then there was me.
Yeah,
And
but
it
I
was
mean, you got to work with them, you got to see them before, so I mean, that's great, that's cool.
it was fun watching them, but I was like 63 years old, brand new, and I was like, what the hell are they doing? And why is that funny? And it was like watching a puzzle unfold in front of you, and you don't know what the hell are they doing? How do I do that? I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, because stand up and improv are two completely different animals. Like with improv, you're not supposed to try to be funny. Like the funny comes from like real life situations and relatable things. One liners and jokes and bits don't work in improv. They kind of ruin a scene. So like improv, not a lot of people like improv. It's weird. Some people love improv and some people cannot stomach improv at all, and I get it. I totally get why they would hate it. It's not for everybody. But when you're on stage and you have three, four, five performers all working together on the same mind frame, and you start here and you're just constantly going there to an end. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing like it.
Do you think that show on TV with Wayne Brady is scripted or really improv? It's not really a fair question, but any show on TV that claims to be improv, do you think that you wonder? You're a trained eye, so I just kind of curious what you thought about in general shows like that.
I mean, with TV, you never know what's real and what's not these days. But I would say a show is like, whose line is it anyway? I've seen YouTube videos of bloopers and outtakes from that show. So I don't think the show is necessarily scripted. I think I think they still get the suggestions from the audience and they're hearing those for the first time. But I think they have the ability to cut and edit and only give you the best product of it. So I don't
Right.
think it's scripted, but I think maybe if they're doing a scene and they mess up, they cut that, they reshoot it, and they may have some recycled jokes and some not, some new ones. But I think for the most part, it's actual genuine improv. They just have the ability to edit it and cut it and give you the best product. Where if it was like a live show and we all messed up, that's what the audience sees. We don't have that option.
That really makes sense, Mike. You got almost, well, you got more than three times the experience than I do in stand up. So, to a younger comic, and by that I mean on stage, not in life, what would be some tips that you would give to somebody who's a young comic? You've never paid attention to their comedy. Why should you? But if they said, hey, you've been in it for 15 years, what are some good tips for a new comic? What would you say?
Who? I would say, like, I mean, I remember when I was a new comic, and I was lucky enough to hang out at clubs like McGuire's and Governor's and clubs in New York City and hang around with people, not necessarily famous comedians, but people who had so much years in the game, way more than I did when I was in a couple of months in. And it's just kind of like they mostly said the same things. Like, I never have been into comedy drama. I try to stay drama free and don't fight with anybody. You see all these posts on Facebook and people jump in them. I'll read them. Don't get, I'm guilty. I will read them and laugh at them, but I will not interject my name in them. I try to not burn bridges. Don't burn any bridges. Just be the kind of comic. I'm not saying that everybody likes me, but be the kind of comic that everybody likes, so no one can really say anything bad about you. I don't badmouth people. I can't think of anything indirectly right now, but if a younger comic were to come up to me and ask me a question, I would answer it and not act like because I'm not shit right now. I'm not anything where I'm at the position where I can blow a younger comic off and be like, oh, I'm better than you and this and that. Like, I would never, as a person, I would never do that. But even in comedy position wise, I'm not at that level where I can do it anyway. So, just be cool. Just try, write. People are going to give you advice of how they think you should do it. And then some people are going to give you opposite of advice on that same topic. So you don't know who's right and who's wrong. So I guess just do what you feel is best. I mean, you're going to have bookers who are going to love your stuff. And then you're going to have bookers who you're going to send that same exact tape to that somebody just loves and they're going to hate it or never call you back. So someone's going to tell you, don't be dirty, don't be this, don't talk about this. And someone's going to say, yo, you can do that. You can talk about this. So do what you feel is right. I mean, don't piss anyone off in the meantime. And, it's a tough business. It's a tough game, but there are so many cool people in here. And most of the comics that I've got to watch and learn from have always been nothing but amazing and sweet. Like, guys who have been doing this for 30 years, sitting down and talking to me and like a year in, well after the show ended, you could be going home. So, I mean, just try to be that comic. Try to be the comic that, no one's going to talk shit about and be funny. Of course, that's definitely the main thing. You have to do that. But
yeah,
you're going to find that jokes don't work all the time. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. There are jokes I tell that I've been telling for years that kill sometimes. It'll kill on a Monday, and then on a Wednesday, it'll get crickets. So sometimes you're trying out a new joke, and it doesn't work well. Don't give up on the joke right away. Maybe give it a couple of tries on stage. I like to give it 3-4 tries, maybe 4 different audiences. If nobody laughs at it, flush it down the toilet. If 3 out of 4 laugh, it's probably a good joke. If 2 out of 4 laugh, maybe you got to tweak some things and add some things. Take some things away, and you might be onto something. So so many people when you're new will knock you down and hate on you and talk shit about you and call you this and do that. You can either ignore them or you can believe them. Those are your 2 options. It's up to you which way to go, but
I like it.
just have fun. The comedy is fun, whether you're famous, whether you're not famous, whether you're struggling for 14 years, whether you're whatever level of comedy you're at, it has to be fun, because there are times over the 14 years where, where I've got frustrated and felt like giving up here and there, but then you go out and you tell a joke and people lose it and you're like, no, I can't leave this.
Yeah, it's
You
so
just have
great.
to have fun while doing it.
I have 2 more things to ask you before I'll let you go. Of all the times that you've been around other comics on stage in a club, what's this experience of a lifetime that you had that you just can't get over, that it was so amazing?
I mean, I feel like other people have some, I don't know if I've had I've seen so many talented comics perform and just abandon material and just talk to the crowd and just create a whole hour just right there. And like, that's probably one of my, I don't know if that's the most amazing or things I've ever seen. But on nights when that happens and a comic just changes his whole game plan and gets the audience for the whole time while doing crowd work, I love watching that stuff the most. Because all those jokes, all those plans and everything he had, none of them happened. And he's just taking every crowd member that's in front of him and making that his set. And I've seen people like Greg Wilson do that so many times. And he's one of
Really?
the best at it. Like digging
I've
a hole with
I've never
the
heard.
crowd.
I have to come hear Greg Wilson. I hear he's just fantastic.
He's he's one of the few comics that I've seen over and over again that when he's on, I tend not to leave the room. Just because not even his material, his material's funny on its own. He's a great comedian, but I like watching him not do his material and dig himself in a hole from the audience and then get out of it. And it's just some of the best things to see. You definitely need to get on. You need to watch him. He's one of the
He has
he's
a cult
entertaining.
following.
Yeah, no, he's great.
So the last question I want to ask you is a little personal, and you can tell me you don't want to answer it or you can answer it. The shutdown happened and some people who are comedians were not seen as essential. So that means we're not out earning money. So are you giving away your Cash App or Venmo so people can donate to help you out if they're so inclined?
I do have Cash App. Come on, Cash App and Venmo. I don't know what they are at the moment. Let me find those out for you.
Okay. Because
My
usually there's
Venmo.
about 50 people that watch the videos, and if they want to donate.
Yeah, if everybody wants to donate $1,000 to me, that would be amazing.
At least,
I would
gosh.
have everybody over for dinner.
You'd know how to improvise.
Let's hope so. Hold on, my phone is running slow because it
No
sucks.
problem.
While this is loading, so how have you been? Who's one of the most fun people you've got to interview so far?
There's been quite a few. So in terms of cracking me the hell up most of the time, I would say Steve Cater.
I like Steve Cater. I've done improv with him before, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I used to do an
And
improv show downtown, and he came on and was doing some stuff, and then he did some ventriloquism for us. I didn't realize he was such a talented ventriloquist. Yeah, he's a funny dude, and he's got a rocking body. So,
does he? He used to
so I
be a
mean,
Chippendale.
yeah, I saw that Facebook post. Okay, so I did find it, and I'm stupid because my Venmo and my Cash App are both comedian Mike Krasner, the thing that I use for everything. So I don't know how I didn't realize that.
And then the person that I got to interview that meant the most to me, and I'm not ashamed to say one person meant more than anybody else will ever mean,
Right.
and that's Wendy Liebman.
Okay.
So she's a female comic, 40 years in the business.
Is she out in New York?
Originally out of like Connecticut, Massachusetts, somewhere out in the East Coast.
Yeah, I
And
don't know. I've never met her personally, but I've heard her name, and I'm sure I think we're Facebook friends or something. But
the reason that was my favorite interview is because 10 years ago, I started writing comedy, and I was like, I should get on stage. No, I looked up comics, and I couldn't relate to any of them until I ran across her. And I thought, let me send some jokes to her. I sent her a whole bunch of jokes, and she said, you've got to get up on stage. I said, well, I have a brain injury and memory. And she's like, no. And so she made me go up on stage. So she's the reason I've been going on stage before I even wanted to go on stage.
see, that's great. That's like what I was saying before. You have a comedian 40 years in the business, some random newbie sends her jokes, and now she's telling you, encouraging you to get on stage. She could have easily just not even read that message.
Thank you.
But now you're up on stage doing all this, and you're doing over 200 interviews with comedians. So I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I owe it to her because I thought, I never want to get on stage. I'll just write jokes and have other people say them. She's like, no, this is too good. You got to go on stage and say it yourself. I was like, why? She wouldn't let me say no. So here I am.
And have you been having fun ever since?
Yeah. And, like there's times when, you bump up against people in the business that are mean spirited or whatever,
Yeah.
vindictive, and there's been times when I've stepped aside to cry for a couple weeks, but you're addicted. You keep coming back.
Yeah, no, there's always people who are going to be vindictive and mean, but
Yeah.
screw them.
Yeah. Screw them. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean?
No.
I can't wait to see you after this. I'll be back up at LA Comedy Club.
I hope so. I hope we get back there as soon as possible. Shout out to the LA Comedy Club.
Yes.
We need you guys back.
I'll be back as soon as they say we can.
And as soon as I hear something, I will let you know.
Thank you so much, Mike.
I'll give you the inside information.
I'll be waiting.
You can be back on our first show.
Awesome. So I'll post all this, and if I have any typos, just don't feel afraid to tell me I screwed something up because I'm old.
It's all good. I am the king of typos. I never proofread before I send.
I know it's hard to type and yeah, I'd rather send out a typo than check it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
All right. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Miss you already. That's how
Bye. Miss
syrupy
you
I
too.
am.
See
Bye.
you soon.
Okay.
Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot.